Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. So glad you're here with us today. You're in the right place at the right time. And your soul is definitely welcome here. We're going to sing about that.
That's right. Whether you're live streaming or here in person, happy Palm Sunday, everyone. Let's sing about how we are all welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. Look who's here! I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh my soul is welcome here. Oh my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. Your soul is welcome. Your soul is welcome. Our souls are welcome. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Your soul, our soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm getting the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. Come on, get your hands up. Good morning. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome
Good morning. Good morning. It's a beautiful, non-rainy day. Do we even know what to do with that? Good morning, Patty Peters. Thank you for sharing the platform with me this morning.
Thank you for inviting me. We greet you in the name of all that is good, all that is sacred, and all that is holy, and in the warm and loving energy of our spiritual community, Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all people worshiping in temples, mosques, churches, stone circles, and the beautiful temples of nature, because we know there is no space that God does not grace. If this is your first time joining us, online or in person, we especially welcome you because we know you are not here by accident. We are all here by divine appointment. And please silence your electronic devices and refrain from flash photography during the service.
Now, every year between the end of January and April 4th, I believe it is, we observe or recognize the season for nonviolence. And this is a time that is based on the time, between the time of when Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated and when Martin Luther King died. And it's a grassroots movement to try to, get that message out there that there are other ways to participate in this world than by the idea of violence. And so we have a reader each week, and this morning, Cheryl Gosh is our reader.
Oh boy. Good morning. Good morning. There we go.
That works better.
Learn that lesson, right? Hold the mic up to your face. Today, I relabel all my mistakes as lessons. I live in the present, honoring all of my experiences that continue to enrich my life. By incorporating the lessons I have learned from these experiences, I become a better human being. I remember my spiritual nature, and I know I am not my mistakes. I am a beloved child of God. I live in a world that God created, and today I call all my memories good. Where'd I go? I nourish a growing awareness of God's presence in all my life experiences, calling me to be all that I can be, and I say thank you, God. I realize that God calls me to wholeness or holiness in the everyday events and circumstances of my life. All of my behaviors and experiences, whether or not I have judged them as mistakes, are lessons. Today, I am grateful for everything that has happened in my life, and I call it good. When Deborah first asked me if I wanted to do one of the nonviolent talks, I said absolutely. I knew it would be spirit-led no matter what the topic was. And I smiled. I went, yes, this is something I've been working on. And I've been encouraging others to work on too. However, when I read the last line, I choked. I'm supposed to be grateful for everything that's happened in my life, everything I've said, everything I've done. I thought, I can't read this. I can't do it. This is not true for me. These are the things I've been waiting for a time machine for, so I could go back and fix them. And then I heard a voice, and it said, then what? If you could go back and fix all your mistakes, would your life be perfect? No, my life is perfect now. Not in spite of all my mistakes, but because of the lessons I've learned from them. I don't need to go back in time because I can't, as hard as I tried. So let me just see. Sorry about that. It's been a long time since I've done public speaking. I can, however, reevaluate my mistakes, experiences, and find God's lesson in them, and be grateful for the person I am today. Today, I am grateful for everything that has happened in my life, and I call it good. Thank you. It's going to be a little slow.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you. Sorry, the nerves got to me.
That's all right.
It was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. And we have a mission here at Spiritual Life Center, and that mission is to transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And we carry out this mission through the 5 unity principles that we teach here from the platform every week, and that we say together to help us, integrate it into our own consciousness and into our own hearts. So let's say these together. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God, and we must take action. And it is the first Sunday in April, so April birthdays, please stand.
Somebody's birthday on the platform?
Yeah,
Wait a
someone's
second.
birthday on
Oh
the
my God.
platform. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Come on. Let's get this party going.
And we'd really love to thank Shirley Brown, who's here today, for the beautiful flowers that she made and donated to put on our beautiful altar today. Thank you, Shirley. And this Wednesday, we offer On Holy Ground, our Easter Communion service, which is a meditative exploration of the metaphysical symbolism of Holy Communion. Music is by Laree Shiflett and Paula Mandela. The community meal is at 6, and the service begins at 7. Oh, then join us on Friday for the last 7 words of Jesus, our Good Friday service that honors the final teachings of Jesus, meant to show us the way to our own awakening. And that service on Friday begins at 7.
Okay, you may have noticed the C's Candy table in the courtyard. I think it's set up out there. It's available all through next Sunday, and all the proceeds from the sale go to support the YOU Rally Scholarship sponsorships. You know, YOU fosters leadership and spiritual formation in our youth, and that leads to responsible and aware adults. So you can support our teens by taking home 1 or 2 or maybe 3 boxes of C's Candy.
And then next Easter wouldn't be Easter without a visit from the Easter Bunny and an Easter egg hunt. Because we have young children now coming to both services, the Easter egg hunt will be held between services from 10:15 to 10:45. So either plan to stay later or come early, depending on the service you attend, so your children can join in the fun.
You know, when I was writing that, I couldn't tell how many times I said Easter. It's Easter next week, in case you don't know. You know, the transformational 21-day practice called the Art of Quantum Living helps participants reflect and understand their own biology and their psychology. And this is something that we use here to help us get on the same page and use the same language. This training helps to bring up unconscious limiting patterns of thought, feeling, and behavior that were set in motion, you know, in childhood and maybe operating today. This is a wonderful, wonderful class to go through. Elaine Laroa will be facilitating the training in person. This one's in person. It's over 6 consecutive Wednesdays beginning May 3rd. So for more information, you can go to our website and you can sign up there as well.
And for our community giving partner, our April community giving recipient is the Grateful Garment Project. They're unable to be with us here today in person, but we do have a video to share.
Good evening, Spiritual Life Center. This is J.R. McKee. I sit on the board of directors for an organization called the Grateful Garment Project. Your generous donation will help us help victims of sexual violence. 12 years ago, the founder of our organization said, no woman, man, or child should go through sexual violence episode. If they do, when they go to a hospital and they're asked to surrender their clothing for a forensic investigation, they shouldn't go through the second indignity of walking out in a hospital smock. So we came up with a solution, and that is to make sure that we stock, in this case, through 54 counties throughout the state of California, closets with shoes, socks, pants, shirts, undergarments, hats, blankets, and toiletries, so that a victim of sexual violence has the dignity of cleaning up and walking out with street clothes. Your generous donation will support and impact the lives of many victims throughout the state of California. Thank you. Please, if you're interested, we would love to have your support on the ground in Sacramento, in markets wherever you happen to be. You can simply go to gratefulgarment.org and learn about us and find out how you can impact the lives of others. Thanks again for your generosity.
I just wanted to ask me to add that they serve 58 counties. They are located, or their headquarters is down in San Jose, but they're looking for more connection here in Sacramento. So they don't know all of the crisis centers. They don't have that information, and they have funds to help get that started. So if you're someone who would like to get involved with that to help inform them, come see me after the service, and I can connect you with Mr. McKee.
And remember, there are many activities that foster transformation in our lives. Check out our weekly small groups and other offerings. To discover all the happenings at SLC, go to our website. You can also peruse the bulletin board in the courtyard, then go to the hub to sign up for an event like the Quantum Living that's coming up soon.
Now, part of a spiritual community is that special time of connection. So let's now stand and connect with each other and greet each other in the way that we are most comfortable and say, as Reverend James would say, you are marvelous.
Song for you. So if you'd like to stay standing, please do.
Prepare ye the way, prepare ye the way of the Lord. Prepare ye the way, prepare ye the way of the Lord. Prepare ye the way, prepare ye the way of the Lord. Prepare ye the way, prepare ye the way, prepare ye the way of the
Thank you. Now something with more drums.
Not. Well, what we're going to do is just drop right down and feel that drumming heartbeat of every beautiful soul in this room. And we're going to speak out loud together our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. Now we're going to sing this beautiful chant.
I invite you to take a nice deep breath. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. Please join us in singing. Together. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory.
In the light, in the love, in the glory, I am. Breathe in those words. Breathe them out. Light, love, glory, I am. Allow the energy of these words to fill and surround your body, your mind, and your spirit. Make yourself comfortable for meditation the way you know how. Perhaps sitting straight with spine strong, feet flat on the floor, shoulders dropped slightly, but comfortable for you. Connect to your body, sensing your eyes slowly closing. Placing a hand on your heart, visualize or sense palm leaves, symbolic palm leaves, dropping before you. With each breath, visualize another palm branch dropping, preparing the way for your journey back home. Breathing in, I am aware of my in-breath. Breathing out, I am aware of my out-breath. Feel your chest rise and fall. Another branch drops. Breathing, I am aware of my in-breath. Breathing, I am aware of my out-breath. In-breath, out-breath. Notice your body settle in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am. I am here in this body. And I am home. I am here in this body, and I am home. Open completely to your heart, to your home. In this space, collect all the awareness you can. Sometimes when we come home to our bodies, we can feel whatever is lying just below. It can be joy, or sometimes there could be little pockets of grief, fear, or tenderness. Sometimes coming home can feel this way, and it's okay. It's perfect. We feel because we love. Just remember that coming home is a bridge to that love. Come home. Come home to that love, the light and the glory in the silence. Slowly return your awareness to the present, this present moment. Take in a cleansing breath and let it out with a sigh. When you are ready, open your eyes. One of the most common prayers is this: what is my next step? When we go to the heart, when we come home, we connect with love and our own divinity. It is from this sacred heart space that we are able to move forward. Remember this, dear soul. Prepare your way forward with an affirmation such as this: I am here in this body, and I am home. I move forward from the heart. I am. May it be so.
On the way to Jerusalem, thousands gather to watch him go by. On the way to Jerusalem, there on the road, he carried the load of this world as the coat carried him on his back. Colton Rider, Colton Rider, Colton Rider on a dusty road. These are the palms of peace given in these times of strife. These are the palms we gather, thanking you for your life. These are the palms of joy given in these times of trial. These are the palms of homage, bearing you mile to mile. So lay down the palms, lay down the palms, make the earth clean and pure. Lay down the palms, lay down the palms. Comes now that Christ come to assure. These are the palms of dreams given in these times
Hosanna, 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 Hosanna. Hosanna, 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 Hosanna. Hosanna, 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 Hosanna.
So much going on with the team. Thank you so much. Happy birthday, Dominic. Welcome back, John, for 20 minutes. Palm Sunday. Prepare ye the way of the Lord. Now, in my mind and for the purposes of this talk, the Lord is our own divinity. So how do we prepare for the coming of our own divinity? You know, we use the word transformation a lot around here. And I was thinking, well, our mission is to transform lives. But what do we really mean by that word transformation? Those of you who know me know I had to go to the dictionary and find out what other people say about these words before I make up my own stuff. And there are three definitions: to change in composition or structure, to change the outward form and appearance, and to change the character or condition. And at first I thought, okay, that second definition could be sort of shallow, you know, just to change the appearance and not anything deeper. But then I realized that if you truly transform something, all three of those apply. Because when you change the composition of something or change its character, the appearance will change too. The process of transforming can properly be called spiritual formation. And when we enter a spiritual path, we start to reform within, not reform, but reform within. You know, most of us have had the experience of someone mentioning to you, you look different somehow. You know, what's going on? They can't put their finger on it, but somehow you look different. And so that's that appearance part of it. And it's because you've transformed from the inside out. Now, I am going to connect this story of Palm Sunday to our everyday lives, to us. But I want to look at Palm Sunday first, and I'll come back to this. You know, Palm Sunday might be considered the beginning of the Easter story. From John 12 to 13, we read, "On the next day, a great multitude had come to the feast. When they heard that Jesus was coming to Jerusalem, they took the branches of the palm trees and went out to meet him and cried, 'Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, the King of Israel.'" That's the whole story. Jesus came to Jerusalem for the Passover feast, and he chose to make an entrance. He knew that the powers that be were already nervous about his teaching, and they didn't like his huge following. But that didn't deter him. He had a message, he had a mission, and the danger of carrying out maybe it scared him, we don't know, but he didn't stop. And he chose not to sneak in the back door and stay safe. He very publicly rode a donkey along a road lined with his followers who were waving palm leaves and cheering him on. The thing to understand about this act is that Jesus was not doing it out of personal ego. He was making a specific statement. Now, I could try to explain this on my own, but I'm going to bow to Eric Butterworth's eloquent writing. The people thought that Jesus coming into Jerusalem on this first Palm Sunday was his first move towards a militant takeover. Actually, as we see it today, it was more of a caricature of a triumphant entry. Because according to custom, when a conqueror came back into his own city, he was preceded by his slaves and the spoils of his victory, followed by his army. But Jesus had no slaves, he had no spoils, he had no army. And the conquering king would ride in on a horse-drawn chariot. Jesus rode on a donkey, a symbol of peace and humility, not war and aggressiveness. But what the people and even Jesus' closest disciples didn't seem to know is that Jesus was on the last lap of a lifetime of personal overcoming. His life had been devoted to proving the principle of the divinity of man. He knew that the truth could not be inexorably complete till he had gone through, yes, even grown through, the experience of the cross. I like Butterworth a lot. We should take special note that the fact that the people didn't understand. They expected Jesus to be exalting his own divinity himself, making himself the great exception rather than the great example. And that is still misunderstood today, actually. We know how the story goes after his entry into Jerusalem. And that part of the story is so compelling that I think we sometimes will gloss over the meaning of the entry into Jerusalem. There's deep metaphysical meaning in this short passage that transcends history and relates to us and our own spiritual paths right now in this day and age. It is the story of Jesus coming fully into his own divinity, fully accepting and embracing his Christ self. But look at the symbolism. Palms are the metaphysical realization of the physical unlimited resources of strength. So the people supported Jesus with the strength by waving the palms as he passed. He was walking into his strength. Jerusalem means habitation of peace or dwelling place of peace. Jerusalem is the spiritual center of consciousness. So Jesus entering Jerusalem then represents the progressive unfoldment of the spiritual I am. It is a season of transformation. And then the feast he attended later represents, or the feast that he was coming to, represents a receptive state of mind toward all spiritual good. That kind of changes it, doesn't it? Jesus knew what he was doing. He knew the consequences, and was, because of the consequences, not in spite of them that he acted. Much of what Cheryl said to us earlier. It wasn't in spite of, it was because of. He knew that this was the fulfillment of his mission to show us the way to come into our own state of divinity. And so this brings us back to the spiritual formation I mentioned earlier. Spiritual transformation is that progressive unfoldment of the spiritual I am within each one of us. And it is for all of us, not for the special few. Now, Jesus may have come into the world fully awake. I don't know. We do a lot of projecting on this, right? But he still studied. He asked questions. He traveled. He didn't just stay in one place and go, "Yep, I got it." And if you look at the whole story of his life, you can see the different places where he was actually growing. His time in the desert after his baptism, where he encountered the temptations, that wasn't just an empty exercise to say, "Okay, I'm just showing you how it's done." He was actually working through a process of releasing personal ego, not eagles, ego. He was in a physical body, so he still had to overcome some of the things that go along with being in a physical body. And in the end, after many trials and tribulations, not just in the desert, but his entire life, as well as successes and joys, because he had a lot of those, he did succeed and fully embrace his own divinity. And it is the same for us. Maybe we didn't come into the world fully awake. I know I certainly didn't. Or maybe we did and then we forgot. Or we went to sleep after we had boots on the ground for a while. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that we know that it is possible to ignite that light within and grow and thrive. And once we know it's possible, we feel empowered. We can take action. Now, a few weeks ago, I was sitting listening to Reverend James, and I don't even remember the context. But two things came to me. The Easter story is our story. And the Easter story doesn't begin on Palm Sunday. The Easter story begins way back at Christmas, when the light is born. You know, there's speculation that Jesus was actually born in what we call August, but the celebration of his birth eventually came to coincide with the winter solstice. And many cultures and religions celebrate what is called the coming of the light, the time of year when the nights start to become shorter and there is more light in the day. The light is born. The coming of the light is also the inner revelation that we carry the divine spark within us. Our personal Christmas, the coming of the light, happens when we become more aware that there is more to us than what appears. Our light is born up and out into our consciousness awareness, and in a real way, we nurture our newborn light to help it grow. We study, we pray, we meditate, we join in community, just as Jesus did. And some of us begin to teach. What better way to expand your consciousness, to learn consciousness and to learn than to teach? And you know, they say that you teach best what you need to learn. And if that is true, I must be one heck of a teacher. But think about what Jesus must have actually been learning from his own teaching. Because when you're talking about something, if you're listening to yourself, which I'm sure he was, all these things he was saying is also coming back and going, oh yeah, oh yeah. You know, along the way, this path we're on, we face challenges and we face joys and we experience joys. And as we move along in that spiritual formation path, we deal with these challenges in different ways. And probably at the beginning, not as well as we would like. But life is an experiment, and we are constantly trying out something new. Really, every single talk I give is an experience. Every step out the door is an experiment. Every relationship, every job, every trip to the grocery store, heck, every meal is an experiment. It's also an experience. But you might have made that corn chowder 100 times, but it's always going to turn out just a little differently. You might not notice, you might notice it, others might. You might not. You know, mom made the best whatever it was, and it tasted a certain way to you, but it always was just slightly different because it's always an experiment. And with every experiment, you learn something. It's like, the inventors, like Edison saying how many times he did something, and they call them failures, but the truth is, they're always learning experiences. That is, if you're paying attention. Experience is what forms us. So every experiment is an experience. The trick is not to let the experience run us. We need experience as a guide through this material world. But as we transform internally, we also acknowledge worldly experience and put it in its place. Experience it can provide really useful information. And again, I can go back to this reading today. You know, I learned stuff from that. Say if you were to get a painful sunburn, you might decide not to spend so much time out in the sun. That's useful information. But if you become frightened of the sun because you had that one experience, you're never going to go outside again. And you're only looking at outer circumstances, and you're not consulting your own light. And it is true that some experiences take us into the dark. And those dark times can be very trying, and they can feel like crucifixion. You know, perhaps a relationship ends, and we feel crushed and desolate. Eventually, though, we rise again. We find the light once again. And from this, we develop courage. We develop strength. We become sure of ourselves. We become sure of what we are here to do. And when we face deep, frightening challenges, we're able to rise above our own personal ego and move forward knowing that there is more to life than the material circumstances. This is what Jesus did. This is what Jesus taught us. Transformation, spiritual formation, is subtle and gradual. except for the times that it isn't. Sometimes you may relate, some of you may relate to this. Sometimes as you do your spiritual work, you feel, okay, but it seems like nothing's happening. I'm doing it, but nothing's happening. And then other times the internal shifts come so fast, you aren't even sure you can keep up with it. It's like someone rearranged your mental and emotional furniture and you don't even recognize the landscape. And then one day you trip over a mental chair that was left in the middle of your mind and you go, aha! That is transformation. And then you go back to feeling like nothing's happening. But be sure that it is. Just because it's not always right here in front of us doesn't mean that our subconscious and our light isn't working. We can never really fall back. We never lose what we have gained. We might get confused and feel lost a lot of the time. But we can never lose that spiritual progress. We just can't. If it gets dark, we just have to turn our light back on. And the truth is, I believe that we go from Christmas to Easter over and over again during our lives, maybe sometimes even in 1 week. I know. I had one of those a while ago. This is also transformation. And of course, this all hinges on the fact that you're paying attention, you're being aware. Now, the other day, I had a conversation with a fellow writer, and we were discussing what it's like to have a brilliant, clear image in your mind and then try to convert it into words. The image that each of us has our own Christmas where our light is born, and we move through light and to our own Easters where we experience multiple mini crucifixions only to rise again, flashed into my mind in a brilliant moment of clarity. I could see the whole process. And now I stand here, I wonder if I am conveying this idea in a way that makes sense to you, and I hope I am. It was so clear, and it was such an internal process. You know, the story of Jesus has a continuity, but it's always told in a very fragmented way because we're always looking at this phase of his life or that phase of his life. And each one of those phases teaches us something different. And if we pay attention to those phases, we see that spiritual formation happening. And those phases do build on each other. But his whole life was a progression from human to fully embracing his divinity, to that I am. We can also do that, all of us can, by releasing our personal ego and allowing Spirit to guide us, even though we may not like the outcome, or we may not know what the outcome will be. The progression is how we prepare the way for our higher selves to emerge. Remember, Jesus did have that moment in the garden wondering if he could get out of it. Lord, let this cup pass from me. He wasn't beyond that. And while none of us will experience a physical crucifixion, we will experience what it feels like to have inner deaths. And Jesus taught us so much about how to face that the day he rode into Jerusalem. He did that by not being a warrior. He showed us how to fully accept our inner divinity. He showed us it's not an ego trip, but a deep commitment to being who we really are, and who we came to be. The whole story from Christmas to Easter is the most magnificent illustration of spiritual transformation we can ask for. And as for Palm Sunday, I'm very grateful for this tiny story that prepares the way for us to enter Jerusalem, our habitation of peace, just as Jesus did. And so it is. In case you didn't know by now, next week is Easter. And Reverend James will be speaking on the forward look of Easter. And of course, we're going to have special music. Bejan, LeJean Walker, Larry, Soul Light Connection. It's going to be a blast. And yeah, I want to remind you that our prayer chaplains are here. They wear the white stoles, and they will be in the courtyard to pray with you after the service, should you desire. And we also love to welcome our newcomers. And so we have a card that we can give you if you are here for the first time. If you're watching us online, you can go to our website and find the welcome card that way and fill it out and submit it, and we will get back to you. But if you are here for the first time today, would you please raise your hand? Okay, it looks like we're all family, and as Reverend James says, if you were different today than you were yesterday, you're a new person, so. So now this gives us the opportunity to support Spiritual Life Center, and if you are wanting to donate, you can text SLC Love to 44321. You can also go to our website and click on the donate button, and of course you can always mail something in. And if you want to help us continue, send out this message, this consciousness to keep it going out and out and out, please click on like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever the app you're on asks you to do, because that just keeps that message going out farther and farther. So for those of us here today giving, let us symbolically hold our offering and do our blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
So are you ready to enter those gates of transformation with gladness in your heart?
Yes.
All right, let's sing about that.
This is one of those I can't sit any longer and I have to sing along songs. I encourage you to do so. Especially you, Carol. I will enter the gates with thanksgiving in my heart. I will enter this port with praise. I will say this is the day that our God has made. And I will rejoice, for Spirit makes me glad. Spirit makes me glad. Oh, Spirit makes me glad. I will rejoice, for Spirit makes me glad. Spirit makes me glad. Oh, Spirit makes me glad. I will rejoice, for Spirit makes me glad. I will rejoice. I will enter this gate with thanksgiving in my heart. I will enter this port with praise. I will say this is the day that our God has made. And I will rejoice, for Spirit makes me glad. Spirit makes me glad. The Spirit makes me glad. I will rejoice, for Spirit makes me glad. Spirit makes me glad. The Spirit makes me glad. I will rejoice, for Spirit makes me glad. Spirit makes me glad. Oh, Spirit makes me glad. I will rejoice, for Spirit makes me glad. Spirit makes me glad. The Spirit makes me glad. I will rejoice, for Spirit makes me glad. Yeah, I'm gonna rejoice. I will enter the gates with thanksgiving in my heart. I will enter this port with praise.
the joy of the season. And so we give thanks for the offerings, the sharing that we all experience, because we know that what goes around comes around, and that we keep this ministry going through the love and the light and the joy and the offerings that we receive. And we say thank you, God. And we bless the prayers in the prayer box, knowing that before the question is asked, the answer is already here. And the process of asking is the process of also accepting. As we send these prayers to Silent Unity to be prayed out for the next 30 days, we know that just come in the highest and best ways at the highest and best times. And we are so very grateful. And we say, Amen. And now our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. And now our peace song.
Begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we, let us walk with each other in perfect harmony.
Have a beautiful week. May the joys of the world go with you.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in pastures so green. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in pastures so green. And He leads me and He feeds me by the water. He restores my soul and He makes me whole by the water. And though I am walking through a valley so dark, no evil I will fear, for I know you are near, for you are with me in your power to comfort and strengthen.
whistle. Give us.
I think we need a birthday boy solo. Break it down.